Welcome back to TYT Sports. Continuing our conversation, at least with the NBA, in regards to the Golden State Warriors and the San Antonio Spurs. The Warriors, in short, routed the Spurs at home on their turf by 30 points. 120-90 was the final score. A lot of takeaways from this game, but I want to get to Gregg Popovich's response to the game first, and I'm going to explain a little why later that I have this weird feeling about how this game went down in Pop's mind. Let's take a look at that.
Overall observations and impressions.
We almost got him. How you doing? I haven't seen you in a long time.
Doing the best you can.
My opening comment here will be, I'm just glad my general manager wasn't in the locker room because it might have gotten me fired.
Shots fired.
Popovich is cracking jokes after a 30-point loss on the road in which he barely stood up off the bench, to which he didn't look like he was that involved in the game, because my gut feeling is he doesn't care that he lost to the Warriors. He doesn't care about this specific regular season matchup. There's 3 others left, and it's going to matter more if they meet, when they meet, hopefully, in the Western Conference playoffs.
This is my point on the National Basketball Association. There is a million, it's almost like there's a million games. There is going to be games where you don't care about.
Slightly less than a million.
No, there's so many games, Jason.
Yeah, there's
so many
82 games in a season.
There's so many times you play against your opponent, and the bottom line is that it doesn't always matter. I've seen countless games. I've seen games where teams basically give up with 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes left because I think that it comes to a point when you realize there's no way back from a game, and you need to try and figure out as a coach what you need to do to get the best out of those last few minutes. Maybe you run a different offense, maybe you try something out, maybe you put in a different player. And it happens in all sports, but I think it happens more so often in basketball because you have that amount of games. And the bottom line is that doesn't really matter. Like, it isn't good to lose by that amount to a team that you're inevitably going to face at some point when it comes to the later stages. If the Spurs, I feel like Golden State,
if it all breaks down accordingly, they'll face in the Western Conference Finals.
But you just really cannot. I mean, with Popovich, I'm going to agree with what I think you're going to go on to say, is that I think he's got an alternative plan in the back of his mind. I don't think that he's sitting there thinking, man, we're getting banged by 30 points. I need to go out and try and win this game and make that gap smaller. I think he realizes with that joke that we almost got him, that the game was I think the game was done after the second quarter. And I'm thinking to myself, well, he's now just trying to adjust and maybe see how he can get the best out of his team in that game. I don't think that it was a criminal loss. I don't think that they're going to take it too much to heart.
There was, so here, a couple things to address really quick. One, okay, I get it. Steph Curry's better than Kawhi Leonard. And that wasn't proven. So while Popovich might not have had ulterior motives in that, maybe he's scouting out what the Warriors are doing. Maybe the Warriors really wanted that game more. Who knows, right? But what you did see is Kawhi Leonard plays 100% every time he's on the floor. That's part of his skill set. When they switched Kawhi on Curry, Curry shook him, Curry hit a 3. Curry shook him again, Curry hit a 3. Like, Kawhi's, one of his best assets of his game is his defensive prowess and holding the game's best shooters, Kevin Durant, Carmelo Anthony's. I'm missing a few off that list, to under their average. Well, Curry exploded for more than his average, and specifically when Kawhi was on him too. Now, I attribute a lot of this game going the wrong way for the Spurs because Tony Parker, uncharacteristically of his 15-year career, 3 turnovers, I think, in the first quarter.
Yeah, and you can
made
tell he was
some
upset.
bad passes, and he looked frustrated. And also, while the Spurs are 7-0 without Tim Duncan this year, that team looks so different without Tim Duncan in the lineup, especially the starting lineup. And although he plays about 20, 21, 22 minutes a game, he's still one of the best defenders for his position, according to defensive efficiency. And he's a supreme passer. So they run a lot of the offense through him. LaMarcus Aldridge didn't look comfortable in the post. The Warriors were harassing them and simply outpaced them throughout the first half. Once they got more than a 10-point lead, there was no looking back. Both the teams went 13 players deep, which is interesting. A lot of mismatches, including my favorite. Big Daddy Maranovic and his 7'3" Serbian dunk ability comes in the fourth quarter and gets, I think, scores in double figures. But to me, the biggest takeaway I had from this is, why is Pop cracking jokes? He's so good with the media, man. He really is. But there's an ulterior motive here. So yes, right now, today, January 26th, the Warriors are better than the Spurs. But when it really matters in a series of 7 games, what happens at that point?
Yeah. Are you asking me, or are you just pointing at?
It's the question for the audience.
Yeah, I'm scared to answer that at this moment. But I want to go back to your first point, and this is why when we done the clip on Charles Barkley and we talked about how he would have Kawhi Leonard to start off his franchise, whatever it was going to be, he would want him to be the starting
Pronounced
factor.
that wrong.
Franchise.
Thank you.
But this is why, for me, and probably 90% of the basketball fans out there, if you are still open to different players and you're not just so focused on your team, they would choose Steph Curry, because I mentioned it to you, and although they're different positions, I imagine that Popovich has in his mind that at some point he's going to have to maybe put his best defender on the best defensive player in the league. And it showcases that I don't think Kawhi Leonard, I think mentally he checked out by that point, but still, he's unplayable, man. There's no one that you can't guard this guy. It's just impossible to do it. And that is why I would choose him every single day over anyone in the NBA at this moment. That's why I said on that clip that even though I think Charles Barkley is true in some of his points about how good Kawhi Leonard is and how much, but Kawhi Leonard's best ability can't counteract Steph Curry's best ability. That's the difference right there. Whereas, like, Steph Curry, we know, isn't an avid defender, so he's not going to out-defend Kawhi Leonard, but even how good Kawhi Leonard is defensively, you're not going to shut down that guy. Yeah. That's the bottom line, and that's what I will take Steph Curry every day in my team.
Yeah, I was tweeting out during the game. I still was shocked at how much open space there was in the paint.
Yeah.
Backdoor cutters, they hold. It's always like a pickup game at some point. It's like, you can't let that much space. Box out your man. Francis, I choose DeMarcus Cousins for dropping a season-high 56 points last night before fouling out in the second overtime. Shout out Kings Hornets, you deserve it. So in the aftermath of the loss, LaMarcus Aldridge, I guess, didn't take it so well, considering he shut down his Twitter and his Instagram account, probably to save himself from trolls and commentators and people like me tweeting out, why aren't you getting your body in the paint? It's all right, LaMarcus, you're going to do fine. But an interesting move. Maybe he doesn't want to say anything dumb on social media. I don't think we really need to overanalyze it. Leave the guy be and make fun of the rest of the Spurs that still have an Instagram account open or Twitter account. Comment below with what you think about the Spurs and the Warriors. More importantly, Gregg Popovich and his remarks after the game, the shot fired at David Blatt, as well as the, we almost got him. He's too funny. Follow Francis on Twitter at Francis_Maxwell, myself at JasonRuben91, and at TYT Sports. Go over to the Twitter page, https://TYT Sports.
You threw it.
Hit follow.
Yeah.
Welcome to follow.